Today we're focusing on another big release from MOZA, the CRP2 pedals. These pedals are a crucial part of the MOZA's growing ecosystem, especially now because they've made their Xbox wheels available as standalone items. But a part of the issue for some players on consoles is the lack of PlayStation compatibility. I understand most sim racers looking for premium pedals play on PC, titles like iRacing, ACC and others. But there is still a big market behind PlayStation and popular titles like GT7. But I guess we need to leave it as it is for now. The original CRP pedals had their own issues, but they were actually a solid contender on the market. Okay, we had some flaws, but they were kind of a decent piece of gear. The CRP2 pedals are MOZA's chance to improve even further. So the question is, have they succeeded? Now let's talk about pricing. The CRP2 pedals come in at $399 for 2 pedal sets, throttle and the brake. If you're looking to add a clutch, that's another $99. There is also a performance kit available for $19.90, which we will get into a little bit later. And if you would prefer inverted pedals, there is also an inversion kit for another $179. So how does this stack up against the competition? Well, MOZA's original CRP pedals are still available for $459 for a free pedal set. But honestly, after checking these CRP2 pedals, I think they are going to have a tough time selling this unless they have kind of a big price reduction. So if you're considering other brands, the Fanatec CSL Elite V2 pedals are still a strong contender, coming in at $299. Fanatec's Club Sport V3s, similar, $399.95. But at this price point, they're positioned as kind of mid to high-end option. But is it actually worth the extra cost for upgrading? And I think finally it's time that we have a closer look. MOZA has made some significant improvements with the CRP2 pedals. First off, the base plate, it's quite solid. It's constructed from steel and they added a cutouts in the top so you can easily mount it to your pedal tray with an Allen key. This might seem like a small detail, but it's a huge improvement in terms of how easy it is to put these pedals on the rig. Now, let's talk about the pedals themselves. They're made almost entirely from aluminum, which gives them a premium feel. And the brake pedals is where the things get really interesting. MOZA has included both a load cell and an angle sensor in the brake pedal. The load cell has 200 kilos pressure maximum, which is more than enough, even an overkill if you ask me. The dual sensor setup aims to have a more precise braking experience, something that was lacking with the previous model. That's why there are 2 cables coming from the brake pedal itself. While I was testing these pedals, I had a feeling that I could really modulate the brakes in a way that it was quite strange, but also I had a feeling like I was in full control. A different feel for sure, and that probably comes from this dual system. Cable management has seen a major change as well. Instead of having cables running all over the place or through the pedals, which was the case with the CRP pedals, MOZA has routed everything underneath the base plate. In my opinion, it's cleaner, more organized design that reduces the risk of accidentally pulling out the cable during intense use. Customization is key when it comes to sim racing pedals, and MOZA gives a fair amount of options here. So you can adjust pedals side to side on the base plate, and on the pedal pads themselves can be moved up and down just to suit your own personal preference. There is also a tilt adjust for the pedal pads, which is great for getting that perfect angle. Note, MOZA claims that these pedals offer tool-free adjustments. That is partially true for some things, like adjusting the pedal throw, but for other adjustments you will definitely need an Allen key. One thing that these pedals lack though is front to rear adjustments or the ability to offset the pedals off the base plate. You also cannot adjust the angle of the pedal arms themselves, which could be a deal breaker for some. However, after I've done some testing, I never really had an issue with that. The pedals can be customized and there is always a way to find that perfect angle, although it needs a bit of work. But now let's break down each pedal and see exactly what makes them special. So let's start with the throttle pedal. It's pretty straightforward design, but MOZA has done some nice things here. They've used a Hall effect sensor instead of a potentiometer, which means that you won't have to worry about dirt or wear affecting your pedal's accuracy over time. You can now adjust the throw by moving the bump stop forward and backwards, and there is also a preload knob which can kind of tweak your initial resistance. However, the difference it makes is pretty minimal, and personally I was never really a huge fan of a preload on a gas pedal. So moving on to the braking pedal, and there is where MOZA has really stepped up their game. The brake uses a combination of elastomers and springs that can swap, well, you can pretty much swap and change it to your own personal feel. With the performance kit, you can have 125 different combinations to choose from. Whenever you like soft streetcar feel or a firm F1 style brake, you can dial it in with these options. The load cell and the angle sensors work together to give you a precise control, and the pedals is built to handle 200 kilos of force, though in practice it's very unlikely that you're gonna max it out, like very unlikely. Another thing that comes into mind is how easy it is to change the elastomers. I was never a big fan of the instruction manual, so with a couple of tweaks I found a way to get the elastomers out of the cylinder. The process actually it is quite easy and didn't take too long or get me too much of a problem to deal with. Although there are many options that are suggested from MOZA, I always and I will still recommend to find something that you like, regardless of the manual and regardless of the instructions provided. While they can be great for developers, the same settings might not be great for you. With a few rotations of the cylinder, I was able to get the elastomers out and also had to loosen the piece holding the pedal in place. Loosening the piece that goes into the cylinder to get the best fit, and of course tighten later, and I was all done. And of course I've done that a few times since it took me a while to find what I like. But in the end I definitely cannot say that customization is a big deal. And finally, the clutch pedal. It features a 3-stage design that mimics the feel of a real scarred clutch, with distinct pressure point. There is also a preload adjustment here. Though, like the throttle, the impact is very subtle. You can swap out the spring for a stiffer one if you prefer a firmer feel. And the whole process is pretty much quick and easy as with the accelerator. In conclusion, all 3 pedals look almost the same and have almost the same features. The only difference is the cylinders and the springs that can be adjusted. And now let's talk about the software. The CRP2 pedals integrate seamlessly with the MOZA Speedhouse software, which allow you to calibrate your pedals in, well, a lot of different ways if you prefer, for example, a non-linear response. It's pretty much a standard stuff, but it's all laid out clearly and it's very easy to use. For those of you that are using these pedals on an Xbox, MOZA has got you covered as well. You can make the same adjustments through your mobile phone with Bluetooth. It's not as convenient as having them displayed on your PC, but it's kind of a good solution to keep in mind even if you're using a console. One-click activation in the MOZA Speedhouse makes the job even easier, so it's basically just plug your pedals in and one click and you're pretty much done. So the question, how do these pedals feel when you're actually driving? In short, they are, I would say, an improvement over the original CRP pedals. The brake pedal in particular is a standout thanks to its wider range of adjustments, and you can pretty much fine-tune it to whatever you actually like. Whether you are a heavy braker or you prefer a softer touch, the CRP2 pedals can be adjusted in the way you like it. The throttle is smooth and responsive with just about enough resistance to give you that connected feel without just being too stiff over a longer session. The clutch pedal with a 3-stage effect feels very natural. One thing I noticed is that even with the softest setting, these pedals need to be bolted down to avoid moving. So if you're planning to use them on the floor, you might need to be creative with your mounting solutions. I would still recommend to use these pedals on the rig just to get the best possible feel. So are the MOZA CRP2 pedals worth it? And I would say yes and no. MOZA has addressed most of the issues they had with the previous pedals, and they delivered a product that is more refined but also more versatile. There are a few minor downsides, like the lack of certain adjustments and the potential for scratching the carbon plate, but those are minor in the grand scheme of things. So the big question is, will these pedals provide a better experience and make you faster? I would say that the dual braking system really makes a difference in braking control. I found that now I can finally manage the brakes in the way I want to. They're extremely precise, and there were no moments where I had that really random feeling like something you get with the lower end pedals. So these pedals really help you to express yourself in the best way possible. So the pedals are easier to mount, they have more options. In my opinion, slightly better experience, but not a huge difference in performance. Although the new braking system sounds and feels impressive, I would maybe wait to a potential drop of price with the CRP pedals and probably maybe get a better deal on them. But on the other hand, if you're looking for something new and something that is absolutely fresh, that might give you more control, go with the CRP2 pedals. So all in all, if you're looking for a subtle set of pedals that offer plenty, I'm gonna say plenty of customization and a great driving experience, the CRP2 pedals are definitely worth considering. So let me know down in the comments what do you think, and don't forget to hit the like button, potentially even subscribing to the channel, and also make sure that you check out the link down in the description. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, bye.